Do. Y'all know what to do when y'all come in, man. Drop a comment in the chat. Let me know where y'all tuning in from, man. Let me know how your day going and all that good stuff. What is going on, man? Hope everybody having a great Monday. You know, great start to your week. But y'all know what to do, man. As y'all come in, drop a comment in the chat. Let me know where you tuning in from. Also, please hit that like button. Please hit that like button. It helps the algorithm. I don't know if y'all can see, but my dreads, or my wicks rather, they they growing. They growing. I decided to go ahead and lock them up. You know, but I got something I want to talk about today, man, because this is something that has been on my spirit. The night wave, man. Good to see you, bro, man. Good to see you. Seems like it's been a long time, but it ain't been that long. Man, appreciate you for hopping on, man. Appreciate you for hopping on, man. Hit that like button. Y'all hit that like button if you in here, you know, and drop a comment in the chat. But I ain't gonna be too long today. I ain't gonna be too long. But we gonna let the conversation flow. But this topic right here has been on my spirit. It's been on my mind heavy, been on my spirit. It's just been a reminder, man. It's just been a reminder from the Holy Spirit. Okay, Von Will, shout out to Ohio. All is well, brother, and you're welcome. Most definitely. Glad to hear that tonight, Way. Glad to hear that, fam. Yeah, if y'all haven't already, man, please hit that like button. But what you focus on grows. What you put your focus on will grow. Milan, what's going on, fam? What's going on, man? Okay. We got the regulars in here today. If y'all just tuning in, man, hit that like button. Let me know where y'all tuning in from if you haven't already. Drop a comment in the chat. But what you focus on grows. Because see, I'm gonna be real. I don't know if y'all are like me, but I can be overly ambitious sometimes. Like I can have stuff going on, whether business, job, homestead, kids, whatever, right? And I can get ambitious sometimes. Man, it seems like every time I want to do a lot of these cars and these machines want to drive by, but I ain't gonna let it stop me. But I can get overly ambitious sometimes. So it's like I'll have something that I need to do, that I know I need to do, that God has opened this door for me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm working it, but then I see something to the left or to the right, and it's like, man, I could do that too and get some good results. And so I be tempted to do that a lot of times. You see what I'm saying? Like, oh man, look at this side hustle, or look at this new business idea, or look at this new content idea, or whatever. And it's like, that's a distraction. That's how a lot of people get distracted in life, because they are doing something and then they get distracted and then they put their focus elsewhere and they try to focus on a lot of things and multitask, but they don't really grow at what they really supposed to be growing at. It's like, you ever heard the saying, the jack of all trades, master of none? That's kind of where I'm getting to with this. And let me know if I'm making sense in the chat. Inferno, hello from South Africa. Shout out to South Africa. Sorry for all that noise in the background, y'all. Man, the enemy don't be wanting me to be great sometime, but I ain't tripping. Von Will, what's going on? Angela Eyes, shout out to NYC. But what you focus on grows, and I got me some bullet points today, y'all. What you focus on grows, and I want to talk about why that's important and why we need to, really like understand that in this season, even when you homesteading, right? Because even as homesteaders, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's just say you first starting your garden out, and this is why I tell people, this is a tip I just put in a new video. I'm giving y'all a sneak peek, but this is gonna be part 2 to the video I just put out. And one of those tips, I talk about why you need to focus on growing food first, right? Like, let's just say you starting your homestead, you starting the garden, grow only what you eat first and focus on that. Because this the thing, anybody who has garden before, or chickens or whatever, like, you understand, like, you always gonna want more. But it's like, no, just focus on the basics first. Focus on what's in front of you first. Focus on mastering growing, what you eat first. Instead of saying, well, you know what, I want to get some of these perennials right here, and I want to do this, and I want to do that. No, focus on what you got right there. Because see, when you try to focus on too many things, you're not going to be able to, it's not going to grow. Like everything is going to grow slower versus you just focusing on one thing, growing that, and then moving to the next thing. So let's talk about why. Why what you focus on grows. And the first reason is because you give it frequent attention. You're giving it frequent attention, whether it's a plant, whether it's an animal, you know, whether it's a business idea, whether it's a YouTube channel, or Instagram, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So you giving it frequent attention, meaning you're paying attention to what works, what doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just say, for instance, if it's a you know, a plant that you planting, a tomato plant, you giving it frequent attention. You seeing, okay, I can, you know, water it once a day, it'll thrive. If I don't water it, you know, once a day, it's not gonna thrive. If I water it twice a day, that's gonna be too much water. So you know what I'm saying? You focusing on, okay, what is it doing? You putting your frequent attention on it. And whatever you give frequent attention to, you know what I'm saying, you're able to see the things that you would otherwise miss. Because when you're not giving something frequent attention, you're gonna miss certain things. That's just like a parent, right? If your parent is not paying attention to you every day, it's just certain stuff that they not gonna know that you getting away with. You see what I'm saying? They not checking your homework every day, so they don't even know you behind their homework. So then when the teacher conference come, or when the report card come and it's a bad grade, they like, well, I thought you was doing your work. No, you wasn't giving me frequent attention, so you know I wasn't doing my homework. I wasn't growing like I supposed to be growing. And as a result, now my grades are bad. Now I've fallen behind. That's the same thing with anything in life. When you giving something frequent attention, then it grows. You know, you're able to care for it. You know, you're able to be, you know what I'm saying, just attentive to it. Your attention is powerful. So that's the first reason, right? The second reason is this. You're always thinking of ways to multiply it. So let's just say it's your business, for example, and you focusing on your business, right? You focusing on this. This is what's getting your focus. So you giving it frequent attention. What's going on, Amanda? So you giving it frequent attention, daily attention, right? You nourishing it, you feeding it, you paying attention what works, what doesn't work. You know what I mean? In business, you know, you going out being consistent. You know, you seeing how the customers respond to whatever you putting out. You know, matter of fact, hold on real quick. Let me put my phone on do not disturb, fam. My bad. Should have did that at the beginning. But you focusing on these things. You giving it frequent attention. But in addition to giving it frequent attention, you always thinking about, how can I grow this? How can I go to the next level in my business? Okay, I got 10 clients this month. How can I go from 10 to 20 next month? Okay, well, I can do this. I haven't tried that yet. Hold on, let me go do some market research. Let me go on YouTube, right? You know what I'm saying? And see if there's anybody else that's in my field that can give me pointers and give me information, you know, that can take me to the next level, that can help me scale. Let me do some research on Google. Let me hire a mentor. Let me pay for somebody's time who's already where I want to be in this field, and let me see what they can tell me. So you're thinking of ways to multiply what you're focusing on. That's how it grows. You feel what I'm saying? Because when you putting your focus on it, you got your attention on it daily, you feeding it, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You're also thinking about ways to improve it. So the same thing with, say, a tomato plant, right? You seeing, okay, well, it's growing too many branches, too many stems or whatever. Okay, let me go ahead and prune it, because all the energy is going to the leaves. So let me prune it, and that way it can produce more fruit. You feel what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I need to focus on y'all more. I feel like that is even what this live is showing up before my face. Amen, tried and true, Miss Doris. Amen, yes, and we all need to focus on y'all more. I definitely agree. Bumba Ross, we're not going to get into no religious discussions on here. But I believe in the Most High God. Ain't know what version. There's only one him. The Most High. Amanda Rich say yes. Yeah, exactly. And if y'all haven't already, hit that like button. But you're always thinking of ways to multiply, you know, what's before you. That's why it's important to keep things simple and not try to focus on too many things at once. See, I'm going to tell you, one of the biggest deceptions that has happened to us, especially as Americans, and one of the biggest lies, is that multitasking is a good skill. And that is a lie. Multitasking is not a good skill. with certain things. Now, it can be a good skill, but you don't want to always have to multitask, right? You don't want to have your attention going in all these different directions, because if your attention is going in all these directions, it's just like this, right? I don't know if y'all remember a live video when I was talking about the taproot, right? The taproot versus the other root system, right? The other root system goes wide, but the taproot goes deep. See what I'm saying? And as the taproot is going deep, it's able to what? It's able to grow better because it's tapping into nutrients that's deep into the soil, deep into the ground. It's able to tap into underwater reservoirs. It's able to tap into certain nutrients that a more wider, shallow root system is not able to tap into. You feel what I'm saying? And so it's the same thing when you constantly focusing on this. You got that side hustle, you got this job, you got that side hustle, you got this extracurricular, you got that. So you're focusing on a lot of different things, but you're not zeroing in on one specific thing that you want to grow, you know, and grow abundantly. You feel what I'm saying? There are over 100 guys believe I ain't Christianity alone. All right, we're not getting into that, Bumble Ross. I'm gonna put you in timeout because we're not talking about that. That's not the conversation. That's not the conversation. That's not the topic. We're talking about what you focus on grows, right? But again, like they taught us that multitasking is something that we need to master. And it's like, no, like it can be good on certain jobs. Don't get me wrong, being able to multitask. And I understand that, but we don't want to try to multitask in every area of life. Like you have to have a few things. It's just like this, right? Me and my wife, we talk about like buckets, right? Like different buckets of income or whatever the case may be, right? You don't want to try to have 10 different buckets starting off. No, get you 2 or 3, because it's easier to fill 2 or 3. Like, you know what I'm saying? Versus you trying to, you know, fill 10 buckets right now, 10 big old buckets. No, try to focus on filling 2 or 3. Because if you got 10, then all those 10 might just be filled out halfway. Whereas you get 2 or 3, you're able to go and take more trips to get the water and then fill that one bucket up. Once that one bucket, then you go fill the other one up. You feel what I'm saying? But you need to have certain things that you are just zeroing in on, because whatever you zero in on will grow. And I told you why, because you're giving it frequent attention and because you're always thinking of ways to multiply it. And this can go for anything from gardening to livestock breeding to, you know, business ideas to your career. Like this can go with anything. But whatever you focus on grows. You're always thinking of ways to multiply it. You say, Angela say you talking right. Okay, appreciate it. Thank you, Angela. Because see, that's what I be wanting. I be wanting y'all to talk to me. Let me know, you know what I'm saying? I ain't tripping. Let me know I'm, you know, like the preachers be saying, talk back to me. Let me know. Can I get an amen? But I appreciate that, Angela. But yeah, when you always like when you zeroing in on it, you're always thinking of ways to multiply it. Like it could be the middle of the night and you can't sleep because your attention is so fixated on growing this thing, and you getting ideas. You getting ideas here, ideas there. You know what I'm saying? You jotting those ideas down. You researching those ideas. You know, you constantly, like, you know, looking at videos on how to do it, listen to audio books, listen to podcasts, reading books, you know, seeking out advice on ways to grow it. You see what I'm saying? That's the power in focusing and zeroing in on a few things, or 1 to 3 things. 1 to 3 things that you mainly focusing on. You just focusing on those 3 things, or even just that one thing. It may be just that one business, that one skill that you have, that you are putting your all into. You feel what I'm saying? The reason why I say 1 to 3 things is because I always feel like you shouldn't always have all your eggs in one basket. You know what I mean? But, you know, you got to be able to focus on one thing first and then move to the next. But when you're always thinking about it, you know, you're always going to be thinking about how to multiply it. Another thing is this: attention is a form of currency, right? Whatever you have your attention on, you know what I'm saying? It is a form of currency because, you know, you're doing it a service by paying attention to it. Like I say, like the first tip, you give it frequent attention, right? And that frequent attention, like I say, you're taking notes. You're seeing how you can make it better, right? But attention is a form of currency when you're focusing on something. And see, I'm gonna tell you something. Attention is also respect. Because do you know what the meaning of disrespect is? The meaning of disrespect is disregarding something, not paying attention to it at all. So if I disregard a person's feelings, if I disregard a person, period, I'm disrespecting that person. If I'm disregarding plants in my garden, I am disrespecting it. But when I give it attention, I'm respecting it. And by respecting it, I am giving it a form of currency, right? Which is investing into it something to make it grow, if that makes sense, if I worded that right. But attention is a form of currency, and whatever your attention on is going to grow, because you know, you might not be giving it physical currency, but you're giving it, you know, acts of service. You see what I'm saying? You're giving it nourishment. You know what I mean? You're giving it what it needs to grow and thrive. So that's important to understand. The other thing is this, or the other why is this: you're feeding it daily. You know, you're feeding it daily, and I already kind of hit on that. But you know, whatever you focusing in on, like I say, like it can just be your garden, right? You feeding your garden daily. You putting fertilizer out there. You getting your water system right. Whether you know what I'm saying, doing drip irrigation, or you know, whether you just hand watering it. You know what I'm saying? Like you got a sprinkler system. But whatever you're doing, you're making sure you're feeding it daily. You're getting up all the weeds so that the weed, you're making sure ain't no pests getting in there, eating it up, right? You are feeding it daily. Same thing with your livestock, with your animals. Excuse me. You're feeding it daily. You're nourishing them daily. You're giving them the best. You know, your sheep, you're giving them the alfalfa pellets. You're giving them the beetroot pellets. You know, you're giving them the Timothy grass, giving them the ryegrass. You know, you're giving them the peanut perennial hay. You're giving them high quality hay. You're giving them the salt block. You know, you're giving them supplements. You deworming them. You see what I'm saying? What else? You know, you're giving them a little bit of grain if you do the grain. But you are feeding them daily. Why? Because you respect them. You want them to grow. You want your flock to grow, right? You want them to reproduce, right? So if you want them to grow and reproduce, you have to focus in on them. And by focusing in on them, you got to feed them daily. You know what I mean? Same thing with your business. You know, you showing up daily. You know, you implementing this, you changing this, you tweaking this if it need to be tweaked. Or you focusing in on this, or you doubling down on this. But you feeding your business daily with your time and with your energy and with your efforts and with your resources. You see what I'm saying? And then as a result, you're gonna be able to reap from your business. You're gonna be able to reap from your livestock. You're gonna be able to reap from your garden. You know what I mean? Your job, if that's where you putting your time at. But you're feeding it daily. Let me know if I'm making sense, chat. Also, if you haven't already, man, please hit that like button. Question: do you use alfalfa pellets in your soil as a fertilizer? Tried and true. No, I haven't. No, I didn't even really know you could do that. But that's something I would look into. But with the alfalfa pellets, I more so feed them to sheep and goats, like livestock, because it helps them. Like it's a high protein source for you know, livestock like sheep and goats. You know, it helps them put on, you know, good weight, good solid weight. Those alfalfa pellets do. It provides them a good source of protein. But I never thought about using it as a fertilizer, no. But, you know, you learn something new every day. So I appreciate that. Right? So you're feeding it daily, right? This is the thing, right? And I already kind of spoke on this with the multitasking thing. Oh, saw Miss Raw do it. Okay. Now, I'm going to look that up, though, for sure, because that's interesting. That's very interesting. I'm going to look into that. But here's another thing. Here's another key point. And I already kind of hit on this, but I want to hit on it again. Having too many focuses causing them to grow slower or die. So when you got too many focuses, like I say, you're trying to multitask, you're spreading yourself too thin. It causes all of those things to grow slower or either die. You see what I'm saying? Like you got, you know, all these different plants, and you got a garden over here, and you got garden over there, and you got this over, and it's like, no, focus on this one garden right here. Whereas you trying to have 5 different gardens that's growing 5 different things. No, have one garden that's growing a few different things. Because when you have too many things, too many buckets, too many pots, you're handing too many things, you're not able to give each and every one of those things the due diligence it deserves to grow how you want it to grow. And you're mad because they're not growing fast enough. But it's like, You're not putting in enough energy and effort and attention to all these different things. Whereas if you had one of those things or two of those things, then you will be able to pay more attention to it and provide it what it truly needs and do what works for it, and then it can grow faster. One thing I come to understand is that there's a balance to everything. The only thing that you need to have more time is your relationship with the Most High. He just seems to make all things flow. Absolutely. You got that right. You got that right. No, you are 100% Milan. You need to have a balance with everything. I definitely agree. But like you say, like that your priority and what you can never give enough time to is the Most High. And to, you know, your relationship with God. That should always be your focus, because He is the source. You see what I'm saying? All the resources you want, He can give you those resources. He can open doors, you know, in a moment like this for you that you've been praying for. But you feel like, man, I got to go grind and do this and do that. And I'm not saying, you know, it ain't a time in the season to go hard in the grind and to really run. But what I'm saying is that it's not always in your power. It's not always in your control. You know, sometimes you need to take a step back, plug into the source, which is the Most High, and allow Him to order your steps, allow Him to provide you those resources, allow Him to provide. You see what I'm saying? Allow Him to be Jehovah Jireh or Yahuwah Jireh. Allow Him to be that. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Milan. But having too many focuses causes things to grow slower or to die. And see, this is another thing that's prevalent as well. You ever met a person who always they dabbling in this, and then eventually they end up quitting everything? Like they was printing T-shirts, and then they was working at Burger King, and then they was, you know, cutting grass on the side, and then they were doing this on the side and that on the side, and then you see them a few months later, and they probably ain't doing none of that no more. They already on to a new thing because they done quit everything because they was doing too many things. They got burnt out, and they said, to heck with all of it. I ain't gonna do none of it no more, because they done grown resentment to all these things because it was too much for them. Because you had your focus on too many things. That is a trick from the enemy to get your focus on this and that and all this and all that. We already got enough with trying to pay bills, raise kids, cook food, eat healthy food. You know what I'm saying? Like all the things that we got to do in life, in addition to what you're doing professionally in business and gardening and homestead. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't put too many things up on your plate. You know what I'm saying? Because when you do, like I say, all of them going to grow slow or either die. And you're going to be tempted to quit all of them when one thing fails. Right? Here's another point. Time invested wisely compounds like interest. So when you invest your time wisely, like I say, when you focus on what grows, when you got to focus and you're focusing on it and it's growing, right? And you put in your energy into it, when you put your time into it, you're investing your time wisely. You're being diligent at something. You're not trying to do everything, every new trend that come out, every new hustle that come out. You're not doing that. You're focusing on this one hustle. That's why, like, even the most successful businesses and corporations and, you know, the most successful people, like, say, let's take Bill Gates, for example, with Microsoft. And I don't worship none of these guys, I idolize none of these guys. It's just, you know, I want to make a point. But let's just take Bill Gates and Microsoft, right? Okay, he had in his mind he wanted to do Microsoft. He wanted to do this software. You know, I'm pretty sure there was other trends coming out. Oh no, this gonna be the future. This software gonna be the future. Jump on this trend. This is where the tech industry is going. Blase, squaze, whatever. He could have said, you know what? I'm gonna pivot to do this. Or, oh, you know, do this. Start this business as well, because this gonna take off in the future. He could have, you know, turned it that way, turned it this way. Been tempted to go at that trend or that market trend or whatever. But instead, he said, no. I'm gonna put my focus on Microsoft. I'm gonna put my focus on perfecting this software. You feel what I'm saying? I'm gonna put my focus on this. This is what I want to grow. This is what I'm gonna put my focus on, even if I have to play the long game with it. And that's what he did. He played the long game with it, and it ended up paying off big because he invested his time wisely, and over time, it compounded like interest. So he might not have been making money for the first 5 years, but the next 2 years, after he starts seeing dividends, made up for that 5 years, and then the next 20 years, you know, it just interested and compounded and compounded and compounded. And now he's, you know, getting 100-fold, 1,000-fold, 1,000,000-fold. That's what happens when you zero in on something and you lock in with it and you continue at it. You might not see the results up front because you're doing something that's different. You growing your own food. You know, you developing your land. You being self-sufficient. You creating the content, whatever it is. You doing something that nobody in your lineage or your family has ever done before. And you stick with it. But it's gonna be tempting to pivot and do this and do that, because there's gonna come trends. There's gonna come, you know, people in your ear trying to distract you and say, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? No, focus on what the vision you have is, because you're gonna make the trend in the future when what you're doing finally starts to pay off. But you have to invest your time wisely and perfect whatever it is that you're doing. Multitasking is not healthy. When we focus and water one thing, he adds the increase. Not hitting on the spiritual, but it's my witness. No, let's hit on the spiritual. No, let's do it. Because all these are spiritual principles anyways. You know what I mean? No, Milan, you absolutely right though. It's not healthy. Multitasking is not healthy. When you watering one thing, you investing your time wisely. You feeding that thing. You know, you nourishing that thing. You protecting it. You providing for it. You know, you just doing everything that needs to be done. You thinking of ways for how it can grow. That is going to bring you an increase. It's going to bring you compounded interest over time. Most successful people you see today have kept their focus on the main things in their life. They brand, they business, whatever. They content, they platforms. They focused on it. And even when they wasn't seeing nothing, even when they was tempted to quit, when it seemed like they couldn't win for losing, where they, you know, put out a video and only got 2 views on it, you know what I mean? They still said, you know what, I'm gonna put out another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. And let me think of how I can, you know, reach more people. Let me think of, you know, topics people want to hear. Let me make videos on that. Let me try to upgrade my equipment. You know, let me do this, let me do that. And then one day, guess what? The tide changed. And then you may think they're overnight sensation, they went viral overnight. No, they've been putting in work for 5 years. They've been putting in work for 5 years. Look, I done had this channel for 5 years, 4-5 years, something like that. Start posting on this channel 4-5 years ago, right? Matter of fact, I came up with this whole concept of Set Apart Gardens before we even moved here. When we was living in Virginia, I came up with this. I bought the camera before I even moved on this homestead. I didn't record my first video till we moved here. I already had the camera months at that time, but I had a vision. You feel what I'm saying? And this year, we had one video hit 150K. Never saw that before. That blew my mind. We had 150, something like that, over 100,000. Never even seen nothing like that on the video. But people look at that and say, oh man, you know, he blowing up out of nowhere. No, man, you don't know how many ideas and videos that I had and videos that done flop. You feel what I'm saying? Videos that's still flopping. Some of them still flopping. I'm just trying stuff, but I'm seeing what people like and people take note of, and I'm doubling down on that. You feel what I'm saying? But you may see that person who is going viral, or you may see that business that just seemed like it took over overnight, like Amazon or Netflix or whatever. But it's like, no, man, those people been grinding. Those people been had the ideas. Those people been hustling. You feel me? Those people, man, done shed tears that you ain't even never saw, put blood, sweat, and tears in this thing before they even saw profit from it. You feel what I'm saying? He can't bless what you don't put time in. I'm trying to tell you. He can't bless it. And you know, I don't know if y'all ever heard of this theory called like the 10,000 hours or something like that, where they say it take like 10,000 hours to master something or to really like blow up in a certain arena. I mean, I don't think it takes exactly 10,000 hours, but it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to blow up in something and to really like get the significant increase from something, you know what I mean, that you're focusing on. And if you don't put the time and the energy and the effort into it, you're not going to see the compounded interest. You're not going to see the dividends. You're not going to see the 100-fold, the 50-fold. You're not going to see that back from it. Yes, this is a good message to save a lot of people from making mistakes if they listen. I had to go through everything you're saying before I learned what you said. Me too. Me too, Angela. I had to go through this. That's why I say this topic has been on my spirit, because, man, you know, I've been Sometimes I can get in my own way, and I can try to be too ambitious, and the Holy Spirit be having to reel me back in, like, no, focus on this, focus on that, focus on what I've put before you, focus on these people right here on this live, and giving them value every chance you can get, giving them value, having conversation with them, giving them words of wisdom, putting out videos they enjoy, videos they learn from, motivating them to get back to the land. Focus on that, and your gift will make room for you. Von Will, what's going on? Cheryl G, blessings, fam. What's going on, Cheryl? You know what I mean? But time invested wisely, it compounds like interest. And for those of you who don't know about compounded interest is so remarkable. You see what I'm saying? Like it's an analogy I heard before. They ask people, would you rather have $1 million up front, or would you have a penny that doubles every day for the next 31 days? And most people say the $1 million up front because they think a penny doubling by the end of 31 days is not going to equal up to $1 million. But a penny that doubles every day for 31 days, I want to say it ends up being like 8 million or something like that. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong about that number. And tell me the exact number if you know what I'm talking about. The penny they double every day for 31 days. That's compounded interest. That a penny can go from 1 cent, and next day 2 cents, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16, 16 to 32, and then beyond. And by the time you get to the end of that 31 days, you got, I want to say, over 8 million. If I'm not mistaken, you got over $8 million just from a penny doubling every day for the next 31 days. That's how compounded interest works. So that's how it works when you focusing on something that God has put before you, the Most High has put before you. And the next year, okay, you might have just got one, you at 2 cents the next year. Then the next year or the next month, you at 4 cents. And then from 4 cents, you go to 8. But then soon, as you do it longer and longer, it compounds. And now you at 100,000. And now you at 800,000. And now you at 1 million. And it goes like that. That's what compounded interest does. That's why people invest in the stock market. You see what I'm saying? That's why people invest in all these different things that can bring them, compounded interest over time. That's why interest rates are a thing. Why did side cash talks? That ain't the topic. That ain't the topic right now. That ain't the topic right now. We ain't gonna talk about Adam and Eve. We're talking about what you focus on grows. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you in timeout. I'll put you in timeout for 5 minutes. Milan say, when it seems like we're losing, he is testing us for our faithfulness. Yes. When it seems like we're losing, when it seems like you take 2 steps forward, you get knocked back 5 steps. You feel what I'm saying? When it seems like, man, I can't win for losing. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be, he's really just testing us to make sure that you're not gonna quit when the blessing do come. Because most people quit right before they get their breakthrough. That's when most people quit. Right before they get their breakthrough. And a lot of times on your journey, when it seems like you get knocked back, it's just you getting tested to see if you're going to break. Because you got to be able to handle, you got to be able to handle the blessing that you're going to get. Because it's going to come with scrutiny. It's going to come with resistance. It's going to come, with all this stuff. It's going to come with blessings as well. But it's also going to come with resistance. You got to be able to handle that. And so God, the Most High, he want to see if you can handle that before he give it to you. Because if he give it to you, you can't handle it, it's going to break you. You see what I'm saying? But that's so true, Milan. He said he has to test us to trust us with the increase. Sometimes the wait is long for some. Don't mean he won't do it. Because I'm telling you, the wait may be long, but the tide can change like that. Everything can literally change in a day for you. You done been grinding for years and you finally get your big break one day. See what I'm saying? Y'all saw The Pursuit of Happiness? Where the man, he was homeless with his son and all this, all that. He finally got, the, stock market job or something like that. He went on being, what's up, Caleb? Shalom, fam. He went on being successful, multimillionaire, whatever. That's how it is. It's like, okay. It's like what the scriptures say. A woman that's in travail, you know what I'm saying, in childbirth, right? The birth pains. And the birth pains get intense. and it get hard, and it get painful, and it get to the point of where that woman want to give up. But and it gets the most painful right when the baby about to come. You know what I'm saying? Right when it's time to push and the baby coming out, the head got to come out. That's painful. Then the rest of the body got to come out. But guess what? Once that baby come out, and then that woman see that baby, she forget all about that pain. She forget all about that time that she had to wait. All them cravings, that whole 10 months, that whole 40 weeks of pregnancy, she forget all about that. And she looking at, man, look what God has blessed me with. Look what the Most High has blessed me with. That's how it is when you focusing on something in your life, and he may make you take the long way, take the stairs and wait. You know what I'm saying? You're not getting as quick as other people. Other people seem like they just zooming past you. Zoom, 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 zoom. Right? And it seemed like that. But when you finally reach it, when he finally like blow your mind and open that door and give you that breakthrough, man, you gonna forget all about that. Because he gonna give you 100-fold, 1,000-fold. You know what I mean? For what you had to go through. Every day you was hungry, man. He gonna make sure, man, you ain't even worry about that, because you so blessed now. The abundance is coming in. See what I'm saying? Like you ever been real thirsty, and then when you get something to drink, it's just like, oh, you just done forgot all about that. You ever been fasting, been real hungry, you like, man, you know, as you fasting, it feel like you dying, you can't wait to eat this, that, and third. But once you eat, once you feel satisfied, man, that fast, you ain't even worry about that no more. Because you overcame it, you endured. You see what I'm saying? You endured. But if you break your fast prematurely, then you're going to be feeling bad, because you're going to be thinking, man, I could have waited. This wasn't worth it. I should have just went through with my fast. And look, I done been there. I ain't gonna lie. I done broke some fast early sometime. You know what I'm saying? And I done went the distance too. But every time that I decided to quit prematurely, I always regretted it, because I always said, man, I could have went the extra 2 hours. I could have went the extra 12 hours. I could have went the long way, and I would have got, you know, what I really needed to get out of this. Live energy, recognize live energy. Just hit that like and left. Much respect to this creator and all who respect the art. I'm live too right now. Let's build. What's going on? How to spell? Can't say amen. Yeah, we got to go through the decrease to get to the increase, bro. Giving us these spiritual vitamins today. I'm telling you, cause I had to take them vitamins. I had to take, so I'm finna give them to y'all. You feel me? But no, yes, you gotta go through the decrease because it ain't gonna mean nothing to you. It ain't gonna mean nothing to you if you don't go through something to get it. That's just what it is in life. It's not gonna mean, and you gonna squander it. You gonna be willy-nilly with it. You gonna be blowing money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you wanna be able to go through the journey so you can enjoy the destination. The regret feels bad, man. I'm trying to tell you, Caleb. I'm trying to tell you. Definitely got to endure all things. Yeah. Bars of y'all, what's going on, fam? Shalom, man. We got to get on that chess. We got to get on that chess match, man. I ain't been playing recently, though. I'm going to give my mind a break. But I'm ready to jump on if you ready to jump on. Excuse me, y'all. But yeah, man. What you focus on grows. Time invested wisely compounds like interest, right? And that's what you want. You want compounded interest. You don't want to shoot up real fast and then shoot down. Like those one-hit wonders and those people who go viral overnight, those people who hit the lottery and then be broke 5 years later because they ain't had to go through nothing, and all of a sudden they got tens of millions of dollars and they just spending money on everything. They just, well, I think I'll go and buy a yacht. Let me go buy 3-4 houses. You want a house? You want a house? You don't even know these people asking them, do you want a house? You see what I'm saying? You ain't even investing it. You ain't saying, man, let me put it in a long-term savings account. Let me at least put half of this to the side. Put it somewhere where I can't touch it. It's gonna cure interest. You know what I mean? Like, come on. You know, but you want compounded interest. You don't want here today, gone tomorrow, fly by night. You don't want that. And that's how I be feeling. Specifically with the content creation, because man, I be looking at some people, and not to compare, but because I be doing, you know, I look at other channels to kind of see what the trends are and stuff like that, and you know, kind of look at other content and study it, and I'm like, dang, I can remember what me and this person had the same amount of subscribers. Now they just way past. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes I look and I say, dang, I remember when this person had more subscribers than me, and now I'm past them. And not to compare, but I'm just saying it's just a thought. You see what I'm saying? But you ever see those people that may be in your lane, and I'm talking to content creators right now, who may be in your lane, you know what I'm saying? It seems like y'all, you know, y'all kind of neck and neck, and then they just zoom past you, but then they kind of get stuck there because they may have done something to try to hop on a trend or do this or do that, and they wasn't thinking long-term with their content. And it could be like that in business too. You know what I mean? It could be like that in whatever, careers. Like I saw that in the Army. I saw people who, you know, excel in the ranks fast, but then they got stuck at E5. They got stuck at E6. You see what I'm saying? Because the things they did to get there wasn't sustainable versus steady wins the race. And you can turn it up sometimes, you can turn it down sometimes. But steady wins the race. But when you try to just mash the gas, you'll burn out. You'll burn out. Say no kind of long-term investment. I'm telling you, man, them people who be hitting the lottery, man, I be like, boy, these people gotta be the dumbest people. Riches, and not all of them, but you know, y'all know what I'm talking about. Riches don't belong in the hand of a fool. Yeah, he gonna squander it every time. But I say need a goal for sure. Absolutely, you gotta have something you shooting for, and then you putting your focus and attention on that thing daily. Cause like I say, you're gonna be feeding it, you're gonna be giving it frequent attention. You're always gonna be thinking about ways to multiply and scale it. You know what I mean? And you know, you're giving it currency, which is attention, which is your efforts and your time. You're giving it the best thing you can give it. And as a result, you give your business the best of you, your business is gonna give you back the best of it. You see what I'm saying? And this is my last point, y'all. And I'm gonna let y'all go because I gotta do some things, feed these animals, take this trash to the road, all that stuff. But say, what you focus on today feeds tomorrow. What you focus on today feeds tomorrow. So if you focusing on something and it's growing, it's gonna feed tomorrow. It's gonna feed next year. So little reap little, so much reap much. Yeah, that's simple as that. If you sow sparingly, you're gonna reap sparingly. You know what I'm saying? If you sow a lot, you're gonna reap a lot. But you're gonna get back what you put in that ground. Whether it be 5, 10, 15, 20-fold, 100-fold, whatever. You know what I mean? But whatever you sow is what you're going to reap. You sow bad seeds, you're going to get bad harvest. You sow good seeds, you're going to get back good harvest. But what you focus on today feeds tomorrow. What you focusing on today and what you building today, it's going to feed your children. It's going to feed your grandchildren. See, this is the thing. We get so caught up in living in the moment, not realizing tomorrow has to come. Next year has to come. Time has to go on, whether you go on with it or not. Time is gonna go on. You feel what I'm saying? Like, whether you here next year or not, you know, time's still gonna go on. You still gonna have kids out here, or, you know, people you leave behind. You know, 10 years, if you know, you got people you gonna leave behind. Think for that. A wise man leaves an inheritance. So focus on what you gotta focus on today and stop trying to be so scatterbrained and try to do too many things at once. No, focus on the heavy hitters in your life. What's going to put you where you want to be, right? Whether it's your business, whether it's your hustle, whether it's your job, career, you know what I mean? Your homestead, your farm. Focus on that, your land, all of that. Focus on the things that matter the most that's going to feed your generations to come. And as you focus on that, it's going to feed tomorrow. It's going to feed the future. Your grandkids going to say, man, I'm thankful that my great-granddaddy or that my granddaddy did this. You know, my grandma did this. You know, they bought this land, they built it, they developed it, they you know, made it to where it was self-sustaining. You know what I mean? Make your descendants proud already. Man, I can't tell you how many times I be seeing a TikTok video, you know, where somebody like, yeah, my great-great-granddaddy purchased all this land, this big plot of land. Now we got a family compound. That's my uncle's house right there. That's my cousin house right there. That's my mama's house. That's my dad. That's because their granddaddy or their grandma or whoever purchased the land, you know what I'm saying? They was focusing on what they need to focus on. They probably been toiling in the field. They probably bought that plot of land with their life savings, with all they had left, and built it with their bare hands, with their blood, sweat, and tears. You know what I'm saying? And probably was close to losing the land at points in time. And they gave they all into that. And now as a result, decades later, their children, their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren is able to benefit off of that, is able to eat off of that. So what you focus on today is going to feed tomorrow. But what you focus on grows. What you don't focus on won't grow. What you halfway focus on will halfway grow. You see what I'm saying? So if you're just giving it a little bit of attention, okay, it's going to give you a little bit of harvest. But if you're giving it a lot of attention, man, that thing going to show up for you. When it's time to harvest, that thing going to show up for you. Tony Cruz, what's going on? Boys, y'all say Proverbs 13:11, wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase. Amen. That's so true. The Ashley Sylvester legacy baby. Okay, so you was born into an inheritance of land. That's amazing. That's amazing. Being a legacy baby. You know what I'm saying? That is amazing. Caleb say true facts. Man, I'm trying to tell you, but what you focus on grows. Don't try to get too many focuses. Just get a few. Just get a few that's going to sustain you. Excuse me. That you're called to do according to your purpose, according to his purpose too. You know what I'm saying? Focus on that. It's going to make room for you. It may not seem like it right now. You may be looking to the left and right and you see this person got this and this person just reached that level and this person right here, whatever, and this person got this, got that. Man, you don't know their journey. You don't know how they got it. You know what I'm saying? You don't know how long they've been grinding for it. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what they compromised, if they compromised to get there. You don't know that. So don't look at their blessings and wish you had them. Expect your blessings because you put in the focus and the energy on what you want to grow. Focus on your journey and put your energy on it. And like I say, be obsessed with it. Be almost obsessed with it. Be obsessed with the Most High first and foremost, of course, but be obsessed with your purpose and what he has placed before you. That should be what you're waking up every day doing. Consistency shows your level of faith. That's so true, Barza, y'all. That is so true. Consistency does show your level of faith. Because if you truly believe that this thing is finna bless you, like for instance, if I knew all I gotta do is post 100 YouTube videos, after I hit that 100 video, I'm gonna get $1 million. You know how quick I'm gonna post 100 YouTube videos? You know how consistent I'm gonna be? I'm gonna be super consistent. I'm probably gonna do 2 a day. I'm probably gonna do 3 a day. I'm gonna do at least 1 a day. I'm gonna get to 100 videos in 50 days because I know I'm getting $1 million at the end. Because I have faith, I know I'm gonna get it. But what about when you don't know how many videos it's gonna take? Is you still gonna be consistent? You got the vision, you got the goal. You see what I'm saying? But sometimes in the journey, when you can't see, when your faith is rocked and your faith is a little shaky, you're not gonna be as consistent. That's a great point, Barza. Matter of fact, let me write that down. Cause boy, you dropping some facts. I need to write that down. I'm gonna incorporate that somewhere. What does it say? Consistency shows your level of faith. Man. But yeah, y'all, we have to focus on what grows. Just starting out, but grateful to brothers like you helping out. For sure, Tony. Most deaf. Most deaf. Nah, man, I'm glad I can help, though. I'm glad I can help. I'm glad I could be a blessing. My bad, y'all. I just had to write this down real quick. I couldn't let that go. But, Ashley say, plan. Yes. Definitely plan. I always tell people this. Have a backup plan for a backup plan. Definitely plan. And then reverse engineer. Habakkuk 2:2. Amen. Either way it go, you spending your time doing something, make sure it's giving you something back. Don't just be a consumer. Produce. Hey, Barza, man. Hey, man. It seems like you teaching today. But nah, for real, though. You know, and this is what, like, any successful person to tell you. They'll tell you, I stopped being a consumer and I started being a producer. And that's how I got to the level I got to. Whether it be content, whether it be goods and services, you know, clothing, whatever it is. You know, they stopped being consumers and started being producers. Stop thinking, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy these Jordans, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And start saying, well, how can I make money off the Jordans? How can the Jordans pay me back? I like the Jordans and I want to buy the Jordans, but I want to be able to get paid. So how can I produce? What can I do? You see what I'm saying? Well, I can buy them in bulk and then I can sell some and that pay for my pair, and then I get profit off top of that. See what I'm saying? So it's like thinking about ways to produce. When you become a producer, you look at the world totally different. Like I look at YouTube totally different from y'all. Because every time I'm on here, I'm doing research. Sometimes knowingly and sometimes unknowingly. See what I'm saying? Like I'm looking at thumbnails, I'm looking at keywords, I'm looking at, you know, how they video is constructed and what methods they doing, and you know, the quality and all this and all that. Like I be like, believe it or not, y'all, I don't even watch homesteading content. Not like that. I watch all type of other content because I get ideas from all, you know what I'm saying? So I be looking at YouTube, and I look at YouTube to study, to see what's working, what's not working, what's, you know what I'm saying, garnering attention, how to do this, that, and the third. So I look at it totally different because I have become a producer. I have become a producer in this field. Oh, as a matter of fact, man, I forgot to start off with this, but hey, we just hit 20K. We just hit 20,000 subscribers. So shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to Sap Gardens fam. Shout out to y'all. We just hit 20K. We going 50K next. We going 50,000 next. 50,000 subscribers, then we going to 100 and beyond. You know what I'm saying? But to go from 0 to 20, man, I'm going to be honest with y'all, man. It has been a journey. It has been a journey. And look, I'm not even nowhere close to where I am going to be or where I want to be. But I had to become a producer and stop being a consumer. So that's a good point. Matter of fact, let me pin that. Let me pin that. Kayla say, I'm 26, wife, 3 children. Wish I would have made better investment at 18 to 20, but now I just got to focus on one thing, supply my family's future. But this the thing, Kayla, you right where you supposed to be, bro. You right where you supposed to be. I feel that way, and I'm only 30. But this the thing, you young. Now, I don't know how much time you got. I don't know how much time I got. But what I can say is, man, you still at a more favorable advantage than a lot of people. You got people in their 40s and 50s right now who just going back to college. And look, they right for doing that, because you never too old. You know what I'm saying? You never behind. You always where you supposed to be. You never behind, bro. So you right where you supposed to be, and you are also at an advantage. But you got it, bro. You got it. I'm telling you. Gotta start having that mindset. Be a producer, not a consumer. Yes. Just putting my brick in. You be the one dropping gems. Nah, man. Hey, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate that. Nah, you just right on time with it. Kayla say, I'll praise it. Hey, thanks, Barza. Yeah, man, 20K. I can remember my first 50 subscribers. I can remember how happy I was to get 50 subscribers. I can remember how happy I was to get 100, to get 1,000. You know what I'm saying? So I don't take none of it for granted. Cause I'm like, what the show is? Well, he's like, I built this brick by brick. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel. You know what I mean? And it's only up from here. And it ain't about quantifying it by subscriber count or nothing like that. But it is about influence, and it is about profitability. Like, just being honest. Like, I want this to be able to feed my children, to feed myself, my children. You know what I'm saying? I want this to be a passive source of income, but I got to build it to that. You know what I mean? And I am. True, I sometimes think I'm behind because of where my aspirations are at with land and homestead, and feel like time running low, but seeking to put in the work and trust the Most High. Yeah, man, we all be feeling like that, especially when you ambitious, and especially when you got some sort of drive about yourself. That's natural. That's actually how you want to feel. But at the same time, you know, don't beat yourself up too much, because, excuse me, you're right where you're supposed to be, and you gonna get there. Trust me. As long as you keep, you know, having that mindset and that ambition and that drive, you gonna get there. But just understand, it ain't about our timing. It's about His timing. It ain't our will. It's His will. What did Christ say? What did Messiah say when He was in the Garden of Gethsemane? He said, nevertheless, let your will be done. Not my will, but your will. I don't want to drink from this cup. I don't want to endure what I'm finna have to endure. But nevertheless, Father, let your will be done. So it's not our time. It's not our will. It's all according to His time and His will. Because when it's according to His time and His will, it's generational. It's long lasting. You see what I'm saying? It's generational. It's actually made with something. And it's not gonna be squandered. Love that point. Right where you're supposed to be. Brings peace of mind. Understand the Most High is always in control. If your life is chaotic, it's usually something you need to learn. I'm trying to tell you. That's so true. That's so true. But yeah, y'all, that's all I got for today. I'm gonna go live Wednesday. I'm gonna go live Wednesday too. If y'all got any topics, drop them in the comment section. Everything in your life is prescribed exactly for you. Own it. Exactly. I'm gonna go live Wednesday as well, probably around the same time, since I see, a lot of y'all be online around this time. So just let me know what y'all want to talk about. We gonna chop it up. But be on the lookout for part 2 to the top 10 tips for beginners who want to get into homesteading. And I got more videos coming out too, so be on the lookout for those, man. Any video that I drop that y'all really like and it really resonate with you, please hype it up. You know what I'm saying? And share it with somebody that you feel like will benefit from it. But with that, man, I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and go. Hey, chat was on point today, especially Barza y'all, man. You was on it today, He said you'll be there. Appreciate that, man. I really appreciate that. For sure. Be looking forward to seeing you on there, man. But yeah, I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and go, man. I got some things to tend to, feed these dogs and these animals. But like I always say, man, he who has the power to feed you also has the power to starve you. See y'all on the next one.